The best of Ron and Fez on XM 202, The Virus.
I threw Lily the hell out of here, and Franklin and our old intern Nico stopped in. How you doing, boys?
I'm fine.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
We had a little bit of food here, and then we got into an acid talk where I turned around, and it looked like Franklin and Dave were trying to talk Nico into taking LSD. I'm going to tell you something, Nico. You're a nice young man. You're just graduating from college now.
That's right.
Do not listen to them.
Oh.
LSD is not for the weak of mind. You, my friend, are a weak head, and there's no possible way I want you taking a drug.
Well, it sounds euphoric.
It can be. Under the right circumstances, yeah. But sometimes you go very sideways. And for that, my friend, you need to have a trained mind. You have to have an improvisational system that I don't believe that you have.
Oh.
I can see you with a fork in your own neck, screaming, I'm almost done with the cake. Dave, how old were you first time you did acid?
16.
16?
And I did 4 tabs. All at the same time.
What kind was it? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
The old orange barrels, microdot, blotter?
It had little, it was blotter, and it had little snakes on it, if that helps anyone.
It really does. It helps a lot. Well, here's the funny thing about bladder acid, too, is they have a big sheet of it, and then, some fucking hippie is dropping drops of liquid acid. How much you getting? If you're getting there's 2 drops, suddenly you're double dosing, your friends aren't. Do you remember the first, how old were you?
I was 14 when I first tripped, and it was Popeyes, I think.
Popeyes.
Yeah, like little Popeyes.
I was 14 also, LSD 25. Oh my God. Was that just a rocket shot off the planet Earth? I mean, it's really, now looking back on it, the person who told this to me is child abuse. That is child abuse. I remember I did it early because it was a Sunday, and at the time I had to be in by 10 o'clock or something. I had like a curfew. So I did it right before Sunday dinner, me and my friend. And I'm sitting there, I'm having Sunday dinner. It was like roast beef and mashed potatoes with my family. And all of a sudden, I just see the mashed potatoes. I'm like, what the fuck? And I mean, when it wasn't like a slow into it. It was just like, boom, peak, right? It just fucking hit me. And the house that I had lived in, my entire life was a different place. And I just I look up, and my mom goes like this, "You're not eating anything. You're not eating anything." And I'm like, what the fuck? Where am I at? And literally, as I'm staring at this monster that used to be my mother, this liquid-headed monster that's going in and out, I just hear my doorbell ringing. Ding, 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 ding. It was my buddy who hit it hard and just went running up the street. We got to get out of here, man. He's just ringing my fucking thing. And I spent the next 20 hours just fucking with it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first time I ever did it, I did 4 tabs. I went to a house party, and no one else was on acid, and I just felt like everyone at the party...
You didn't even have a trip partner.
No.
That's so stupid.
Antisocial.
Really dumb. And I remember all the guests at the party just became a giant one monster.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like, I have...
Transformer.
Yeah, I'm like, or Voltron. And I'm like, I have to get the fuck out of here. I tried to leave, and I only lived a minute away, 2 minutes away.
It is amazing how many times you'll think to your head, well, I got to get the fuck out of here. We got to go.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have no idea where.
Yeah, right.
Or where you are.
We'll get away from it. Yeah. This feeling is awful.
I know. As if going back to my parents' house was any safer. But I tried to leave the house. It was only 2 minutes away. I'm walking, and about 2 hours later, I checked my watch. I'm like, how come I'm not home yet? And I'd simply been walking around the house of the party, and all the people were
trip
staring
to nowhere.
at me. Yeah, and
that
I
is the
like,
journey to nowhere.
Why is Dave walking around the house for 2 hours? I thought I was totally nuts.
How long were you tripping for the 4 tabs?
The first time, it was 12 or 14 hours.
Oh.
It was insane. At one point, I'm in my bed, and this, I can remember vividly to this day, this ice cream cone goblin was just like, you have a little bit longer to go. Oh, my God.
That was Beanie.
I'm like,
You can't be my true partner.
Yeah, I know,
I
man.
know, I try to describe people, but to see an ice cream cone that has become a goblin is the fucking worst. I almost jumped out of my bedroom window.
Oh my god.
You know, it's weird that you said that because one time, and like I said, most of the time I would be so young, I had to get at home, you know, and I remember laying in my bed knowing there's no fucking, you know, there's no outs, there's no fucking way this is wearing off for a long time. And I'm like fucking hearing this woman singing like an opera thing, and it was a fucking siren, man. She was calling me. And I was like, if I follow that voice, either something really good is going to happen or something really bad. But it was fucking, I mean, when you're hearing a woman fucking sing to you, I couldn't make out the words, but she was trying to fucking pull me down the street. Fuck. And, you know, in hindsight, like, if I would have waited until, you know, I would have had some psychology in my life, some, you know, experience, some philosophy, something. But, you know, I just jumped into it so quickly.
I think this is what actually pulled me looking at psychology and looking at theories and looking at things like that. It opened up like a door. Literally, the first time I did acid, I felt like a light came on in the back of my head that was kind of cracked, like a doorway that was kind of cracked, and it bursted open, and this flood of images and light and feeling came through. And literally, that light went from my mind into the room and started like a fire in the room, but it wasn't a fire of fear. And I was like, you know what? There is way too much going on. And I literally from outside, I was watching the day go from night to day, to night to day, to night to day, and the stars would happen in the room. And I'm just like, there is so much more about this world that I want to find out about.
It's really interesting that we've never done any, like, real serious work to find out what is going down with all that. Because you would think that somebody would take some real interest. And I guess they did in, like, you know, the 1950s or whatever, when they tried to figure it out, and they just, this is too crazy. Yeah, the government gave up on it.
We're not getting anything out of this.
Or did they think there's too much? Because it really does feel like you're incredibly close to something. And everything, Tom Robbins, the writer who did, you know, even Cowgirls Get the Blues and all that type of stuff, he said that, you know, it was that before and afterlife thing for him. Is that on acid he looked around and he saw that, you know, flowers had personality and, you know, everything was alive and pulsating. And that changed, you know, his creativity from that point on. But there's very few people that will give it that kind of positive spin. You know what I mean? And said, you know, this opened up things for me.
It does. I mean, it does. It does expand your mind. I know it's such a bad cliche, but I totally believe it's true.
I became a different artist the day after I tripped. Like, there was a point where the day before I was drawing cartoons with outlines, and the day after I realized that there's no separation between one another and one object or another. It's just gradations of light.
Mm.
Yeah,
and I drew differently from that point.
For me, it cut into my baseball career because I'm like, I really don't see why I'm playing second base anymore. There's so much to figure out. How many times did you think you tripped?
I'd say at least 22 times.
Yeah. Dave?
40, 50.
Yeah, I probably went like up over that too.
But only acid, though. I've done other things more.
Yeah, the mushrooms and all that.
Shrooms and ecstasy,
like baby stuff. Isn't it the ecstasy?
Just you giggle on mushrooms, maybe a little weak hallucination.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
But acid really does, to me, feel like going to Jupiter.
Yes.
It's a different world, man.
And it is, I mean, again, anyone listening, there's no possible way I would even recommend it to anybody.
No.
Because I would really think do it at a health spa after cleansing yourself for a week, having your spiritual healer there with you. And under those circumstances, you know, you have a doctor around, then that stuff would make some kind of sense. Not the fucking gun up to the forehead the way the three of us did it. But I remember one time I'm on the Wildwood fucking boardwalk, and we stopped to get a water ice. You people call them Italian ices. It's a cherry water ice. And I fucking get it. I take a lick of it. And my whole mouth went cherry, right? Just, and then it went up through my face, down through my head, my neck. I felt it go through and slowly, until I could taste cherry in my toes, my fingertips. And all I did was pull that water ice down where nobody else could touch it. 'Cause I'm like, this is the best motherfucker I've ever had, and I ain't sharing it with the son of a bitch.